King of the Road. Thanks for watching the 170th episode of the King of the Road Show. I'm Jim King. It's hard to believe that we've already been on the air almost 3.5 years. During this program, we'll air our exclusive concert footage and interview with Wade Bowen at the Dixie Dance Hall in downtown Beaumont. We'll also visit with Larry's Old Time Trade Days owner, Larry Barron, about their winter extravaganza, which will take place at the Trade Days grounds on November 20th through the 22nd. But first, we'll cruise to Silsbee to check out E.J.'s Clocks. No lie, E.J.'s Clocks is located on Tick-Tock Lane. Anyway, it's a long story, and we'll tell you more about that later. Ride shotgun with me and hold on tight as we cruise to Silsbee.
One man has the power to take you behind the scenes. Jim King of the Road.
Jim King of the Road.
We recently cruised to Silsbee to visit with E.J. Duvall of E.J.'s Clocks. Believe it or not, E.J.'s little shop is located on Tick-Tock Lane. E.J. loves his work, and he and his trusty companion, Macy, set their own hours.
It's the only bad thing about cable clocks is they get all tangled once you take the weights off of them.
Duvall spends a lot of time tinkering with timepieces in his shop. Some are old and some are new. People from all over have been trusting E.J. with their clocks for years. The constant ticking and talking might drive some folks cuckoo, but not E.J. Duvall. Clocks are his passion.
I used to sell clocks and service them all over the whole area.
How'd you get into that?
Well, it was kind of... Years ago, my hobby was woodworking. I worked on office machines for a living all day long. And so, everybody needs a hobby. And so I started building little shelves and knickknacks and stuff. And I kept wanting to do something bigger and better. So I built a little small grandfather clock. It's actually called a grandmother clock. And people in this town of Silsbee found out about it, of course, by me talking about it, because I was proud of what I was doing. And one of the little local newspapers here in town at the time, they wanted to do a little human interest story. So they come out to my house and took a picture of me standing by the clock and did a little interview. And then when that hit the streets, everybody and their brother wanted me to work on their clock. Mm-hmm. And I said, okay. and I just started on my kitchen table. Like I say, in 2002, I had open heart surgery, and I created this little, so it was a little tool shed, actually, and turned it into a shop. And just been going good ever since. Mm-hmm. Of course, one thing that's helped me is I've been in this area for over 40 years. So I wasn't like, Johnny come lately moving in, and because people are very, very worried about their property. When they bring their clocks,
these are heirlooms.
They're heirlooms, just like your clock. It's priceless. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people, they're kind of hesitant. You can tell when they walk in, they're carrying it wrapped up in a towel or a blanket.
Like a baby.
Yes, and they just, very careful. And over the years, like I say, I guess I've developed a trust with people. Mm-hmm. And you can see my shop is full of clocks. I mean, I've got some of your clock is old. I've got several of them over there that were built in the 1840s.
Right.
And,
yes, E.J.'s been working on my mantle clock, too. A Seth Thomas that dates back to the mid-1800s, which recently quit ticking. The clock has actually been in my family since it was new. It was a housewarming gift from my mother when I bought my home here in Southeast Texas. My mom has fond memories of listening to that clock when she visited her grandfather's house as a little girl. I got out the phone book and looked up E.J.'s Clocks in Silsbee. I figured since the shop was located on Tick-Tock Lane, E.J. would have to know what he's doing.
This is the 8-day. See, they're kind of scarce.
About 1855.
I have a 1-day over there. Not, it's not as big as this, but it's wedged in there.
There it is.
With a patient mind and steady hands, E.J. went to work on my old clock. Clock repairmen are part mechanic and part surgeon. Why do you think this thing stopped ticking? I wondered what makes a clock stop ticking.
Well, it's a combination of things. The oil gets old and gritty and gummed up, and it just kind of slows things down. Some of it is because the clock is not level. A pendulum clock has to be leveled in order to tick. See, like that right there, that tick tock. Well, if you have it out of level, it won't stay running.
Of course, E.J. Duvall has become somewhat of a historian during his years of repairing old clocks.
See, one way to tell that this clock is real old is the way it's put together with pins. So, then another thing that makes this clock different from most of them is the way the frame is made. It's made like a lyre, and there's a engraving of an eagle right here, which is the same engraving that's on the glass. Seth Thomas, Plymouth, Connecticut, USA. See, and so that tells me that this clock was made before they changed the name to Thomaston, Connecticut, which it is today. It used to be called Plymouth, Connecticut, but to honor Seth Thomas, they chose to change the name. So this clock was probably made in the 1850s, 1860s, somewhere around there.
It's the King of the Road Show. We'll continue our visit with E.J. Duvall of E.J.'s Clocks in Silsbee next. Coming up later, we'll visit with Texas country singer-songwriter Wade Bowen.
Listen, we've been waiting for 5 years with 4 hurricanes to try and do a winter extravaganza.
We'll also cruise to Larry's Old Time Trade Days in Winnie to visit with owner Larry Barron about the upcoming winter extravaganza, November 20th through the 22nd.